This meeting is being recorded.
Hello, Bogdan. How are you?
Hi,
How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. How are you?
Fantastic. Nice to hear you.
Nice to hear you as well and see you.
What part of the world are you in?
Right now I'm in Costa Rica.
Oh boy, I'm so jealous. I want to be there.
Come on here.
I will. I
We
think
have
I
a
will.
place.
Do
Yeah,
you?
I'm on the Pacific side.
Oh, very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
Very nice. Yeah, so I need to get your information because I think I am actually coming down in December. So that we can
Yeah, of course. I'm on the group, on the Alachua chanting group, so
Oh, perfect. Yeah, so
we can
all your
connect there.
information's right there. Everything I need.
Yeah.
Of course. Fantastic.
I don't have a camera at my computer, so that's why
Ah,
my
okay.
video is not on. It's difficult because I'm doing something else at the same time.
Got it. But you can see though, right? So if I call on you to read, you can read and participate.
Yeah.
Very nice. And Jeff is there too. Hello, Jeff.
Hey man, I'm back.
Yeah.
I'm going to be an expert in the Sri Atma Gita.
Well, this group needs one expert, so you can be that man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I don't get to do it every day like you guys, so.
Hmm. There he
I have to
is.
start my own chapter up here.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Well, I'll try to have something that you can join on to every week if possible. We'll see.
Yeah.
And hey, Brian, how are you? And Andrea's back. That's nice.
Hey guys.
Oh, there he is. Hey, Brian, how are you?
Hi.
I'm good. How are you guys?
Fantastic.
Hey,
Hey, Andrea, how are you?
I'm well, thanks. How are you doing?
Fantastic. Nice to see you.
Yeah, nice to see you too.
I love that painting behind you. Where is that? Did you make it? Where did that come from?
I painted that.
Oh, it's beautiful. I love it.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks.
Is it the sun, the moon, and the stars?
I don't know. It was just like an intuitive painting, and I did most of it with my hands.
Oh, nice.
And it's funny because it kind of looks like an egg and a yolk.
It could be a breakfast picture, but I was
It could
seeing
be a breakfast picture. I don't know, but it just reminded me of yoga, right? The yolk.
yoga.
Yeah, yoga.
That's awesome. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
All right, and Rob Colwell's here. That's awesome. I think we can get started now. All right, so last Tuesday we got up to about 57. So I think we're going to probably wind up today. So let's start walking through that and see what it looks like and see where we get.
Sorry, where are we at right now? What verse?
I'm going to start us. Let's start at line 56.
Okay.
All right. And participants
wow.
can now see my screen. That's cool. Let me rig this so I can see everybody's faces and my screen, which is wonderful. And participants. There we go. All right, awesome. So I'm going to start with Andrea today. And then Bogdan, I'm going to work you in because I know you've been trying to get on this call for a while now.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
All right, so we'll start with Andrea. Andrea, I'm going to read, and I want to hear what your thoughts are. I'm going to read two stanzas. First of all, I just want to say thank you all for joining, and appreciate this chance to be with you and time together spent in search of improvement, search of God is a wonderful time, and we share an energy in doing. I just want to open you all to that thought that we're spread around the world in different places, that we're all pursuing the same thing in the same way, and that we're trying to grow our love and connection. So thank you for that.
Thank you for
Appreciate it.
making this.
Thank you.
My pleasure. And Philly Rob is on the call. All right, so Andrea, and when your mind's light becomes steady and bright, all ignorant notions will fade out of sight. The false sense of ego will then disappear, and the world of appearance will bind you no more. Your mind will be peaceful, absorbed in itself, and you'll look on all others with equality. Beyond good and evil, with ego dispelled, to nothing attached, you'll then become free. So how does that feel to you? When you hear that being sung in the temple, what resonates with you?
Like when your mind finally quiets down and you can hear the silence, if that makes sense. So the mind's light becomes steady and bright. All ignorant notions will fade out of sight. Yeah, it's like the distractions, things that normally would have distracted you from your focus in life, it just fades away. Like ignorant notions will fade out of sight. I just remembered when I experienced that, where the thoughts just quiet down. And I was able just to sit within myself. And it's like that bright light, and without seeing the light, but it's that sense. I don't know. I don't know how to describe it, but mind's light becomes steady and bright. Yeah, it's like when you realize that voice finally settles down and your body settles down.
So we're getting towards the end of the Gita, and so we've been given a lot of techniques and a lot of affirmations, and so we're starting to get to the reward area, right, of what's happening. And one of the things that, like, when I work with people, it's hard for people to know sometimes when they've grown and how they've grown and what it feels like to grow. And what this starts to share in my mind is what you talked about, where things just start to fade, right? And so the bits and pieces of samskara and darkness and the things that are broken, things that are holding us back, start to just fade. They just disappear. And there's not like an aha moment most of the time. It's a gradual lessening of the internal voice, and a gradual lessening of negativity, and a gradual lessening of darkness and moodiness. And it's beautiful because it can fade away so organically that it's hard to even feel that it's happening. And this is what we're talking about. And that the false sense of ego, and that's ego attachment to, riches, wealth, all the things that we use to kind of prop ourselves up, and that we find validation, and we start to let go of that. And it makes it a million times easier to deal with people, right? Because now you're just like seeing people instead of as a source of validation or reaffirmation or sources of love or energy, they just become other people going through exactly the same through. That's when you can really start to be one. So that's what I'm getting from this. And
I love that. And the world of appearance will bind you no more. Then you're no longer attached to what's happening outside of you. It's kind of like, all right, so what if that's taking place? You know what I mean? I'm centered within myself, and I'm not going to let my mind go there. It's not that you're not going to let your mind go there. It's just your mind just doesn't go there anymore, right? Because you lose that attachment.
I think there's an interim phase, at least for me, where my mind still goes there, but I see it happening and I don't give it any credence or any weight or don't act on it. Right.
Yes, I love that.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess it seems like that the mind is not doing that anymore. It's just because you have shifted your awareness, right? But yes. Yeah, that's beautiful.
And that's how it fades. It's these tendencies, as we ignore them and we just let them live in our mind and we don't act on them, they become ignored and they leave, which is amazing. All right.
What that Mickey says, an ignored guest leaves quickly.
Yeah, that's a I can't remember who authored that, but yes, that's a quote that he gives regularly.
Yukteswar,
Yes.
I think.
Yukteswar, yeah. Awesome.
Thank you. So Bogdan, you're up next. I'm going to read 58 and 59.
Okay.
Let's see where we go, okay? What more can remain to be gained by that man whose heart is filled with love, who has found joy within? His words are of truth, and all men are made pure by hearing from him of the one who endures. Like fire, he is able to burn away sin and light up the deep night of darkness within. A blessing to all, he is like a strong ship to carry all men across this ocean to bliss.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Yeah, so for me, each verse resonates differently. Each time my mind fills into another one. But right now, what comes up is when we do the work and we stop reacting, it's that it's not just us which feel the love, because if we're not reacting to other suffering and we're not buying into it, the energy turns back into itself so that the person can see it instead of spreading it and carry it along the day. And so when we do that, we're really working on ourselves as well when we work on ourselves. By hearing from him. So there is only one being who, what I hear, there's only one being in all of us which experiences all of this. And yeah, that's what I feel for now.
You know, the thing that you just said that really hit me was that every time that you go through this, it feels a little different. And I've had that same experience. Every day that I go, depending upon what situation I am in, what I'm letting go of, and what I'm working through, the words just sound completely different. And one of the things that I heard, and you can correct me if I didn't hear this properly, is that when you have love in your heart and you're working with someone, talking to them, helping them, or just existing with them, that when you have love in your heart, you don't have to buy into their dramas, that you can just open your heart and feel them and not get pulled into them energetically. Did I get that right?
Yeah, neither buy nor, I don't know, react in any way so that person react to reactiveness. Instead, it gets seen by what it is. It's just a story which everybody carries with him.
Yeah.
An energy which most of us have, which are not aware of, that we're carrying them with us, I guess.
No, I love that. So when I hear that, I hear Mickey talking about compassion. And he talks about compassion being the sense that you can talk to someone, help them through a difficult situation without buying into it, without getting sort of pulled into the hole yourself. And that's incredibly important, to be able to be supportive, to be a good friend without losing your own identity into a situation, being pulled into the problem as well. And that's incredibly important. So, okay, line 59, like fire, he is able to burn away sin and light up the deep night of darkness within. A blessing to all, he is like a strong ship to carry all men across this ocean to bliss. I want to ask everybody a question. Just, have you had the experience of conscious, like, so take a deep breath. This is exciting for me. We all have moments of darkness, right? When some heavy energy starts to take over and we start to feel ourselves being taken under by something big happens, something that's beyond our reasonable ability to let go. And it starts to feel like we're headed into that deep night of darkness within. And who has had that experience, or how tell me about the experience you've had of letting that light come in and actually dispel. So you see the darkness coming, you feel it, and you question the reality of the darkness. You start to appreciate that it's just a mental construct that you've made, and you can release it without the damage. Any hands? Anybody have a story to tell? Come on, Willie, tell me what you've gone through. I know somebody.
Well, lately,
Yeah.
hello everyone. Yeah, lately I've had a new baby arrived in the family, and I tend to take things quite personally when it cries, like, oh, it's my fault and things like this. So it activates the samskar quite quite intensely, and I find that when I manage to stay centered enough and to feel the energy but not go with it, at some point it takes sometimes 10 minutes, sometimes more, sometimes it's quite quick. And especially when I have the chance to pause for a while and go in, for example, do something else, then all that energy that was stuck at the stomach level kind of rises, and I start really laughing quite hard because it's so stupid to take it personally, you know. It's, I don't know, all the stories that I tell myself at that moment just appear so much more clearly, and it's so funny that yeah, it's like, and actually can feel that fire the whole time when it's really burning in my stomach, but I know that I don't want to just throw that to my child. I mean, it has nothing to do with her, and it's just my stuff, and I love her, so I mean, so and it helps me to just be patient with it, and then when the chance comes, there's that distance is like a spark, and then boom, I start laughing, and I really love that moment because I know that that's all these. I can feel that I've walked a bit, because I know that if I had that situation a year ago, 2 years ago, then things would have been quite different, and I would have had to either push it down, but then I would have messed up with something later, or express it, and she would have had to pay for something she's not responsible of. So that's
beautiful.
what I've been experiencing.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. It's like we were saying earlier, we're towards the end of the Gita, and we're talking now about some of the things that start to happen as you work through the processes and the affirmations that have been presented, you know, for the previous 60 lines. And the feeling when you see yourself heading into darkness that you normally, as Willie said, you would have a year ago or 6 months ago or a week ago found yourself just mired in depression, darkness, and you pull yourself out just by the awareness of the steps that are happening, what's happening with you. It's a beautiful thing. It's an amazing thing. It's like you just gave yourself days of your life back that you don't have to spend in darkness. And that's from self-knowledge. That's what we're talking about, like working with yourself, mindfulness, and being aware of the internal dialogue and conscious of your own being. So that's beautiful. I want to, Rob, can you give me quickly? I know you're working on all this stuff. Rob Coldwell, share something.
on the 59, like fire is able to burn away sin.
Yes, and even about just letting, like, watching yourself go through stages and pulling yourself out before you get really deeply pulled in.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I didn't really equate it with the sin part, but I think I have too much mind involved in that word sin. But anyway, yeah, I mean, recently, what my pattern is, I'll get angry and then I'll get sick almost within 24 hours. And then I will literally prop myself up in bed and say, Shakti, do your work. And it'll be, the last one was like 8 hours of like intense releasing, and it felt like I was having a heart attack. It was pretty tense.
I don't mean to laugh at the intensity, but we've all been there, and it's beautiful. I really love and respect that.
Yeah, and different things came up, a lot of fears, a lot of regrets, and then it was kind of over.
Yeah,
And it was just kind of over, and then there was more like a lightness there. I mean, the part about, a blessing always like a strong ship to carry all men across this ocean of bliss, that reminds me of like the Yogananda image where he's on the boat, and I think he wrote a song called The Boat. And he's just going to keep coming back to earth to help.
right.
To help
So
all lost souls. So
I want to ask you a specific question. You talked about going through this spell where you really kind of got sick and cooked, and you really felt like severe heart work happening.
yes.
What did it feel like the next day?
It definitely felt lighter the next day. I mean, my episode's pretty crazy because and Tim, you know the backstory of this, but I had one heart scan that said my heart wasn't beating properly on an echocardiogram. And then shortly after this, a few weeks later, and doing some other techniques and modalities, but this was the major event, the heart scan was clear. Like, and I mean like MRI clear, like an hour underneath that huge magnet. And like, the doctor's like, yeah, I'm not sure what happened. I could give you an idea of what might have happened. So it's, yeah, for me, you've taught me to like raise my arms above my head, right? Like the tent pole, you call it, and then just breathe. And I can't always do that. But when I do that, it's a burning, and then it is a release. The challenge is I have no idea if it's going to last for 15 minutes or 8 hours.
Right.
I think it actually will last as long as I'm able to just sit with it. It's almost like hey, we got some time now. He's a little sick and he's in bed, and he cleared his whole schedule. Like, let's get rid of this stuff.
Yeah, that's so the thing I want to point out to everybody that this is what it feels like to do a cleansing. This is the power of opening yourself and becoming intimate with your pain, with your frustration, with anxiety, anger, whatever it happens to be. That's your flavor of sin. And I use that word. I'm going to interpret that word as being not so much a transgression against God's law, but an unprofitable behavior, right? I just want to stick with it like that. And so that it's not that you've done something wrong, you're cleansing, and it just feels like shit, and that's beautiful. So that's my that's what we get to learn from Willie and from Rob is the power of experiencing your pain fully and breathing through it and letting it go. Bogdan, you have your hand raised.
Yeah, I wanted to say about this thing. So always, because it's happening a lot lately, I see myself having a reaction inside, and then the tendency is always to react, to spread it, to protect it, whatever I feel. So yeah, I'm a little bit emotional because I don't usually speak in front of people, and I get lost in the ideas. Yeah, so the so what happens is it comes day after day after day until finally you see why it's been manifesting if you don't go with it. That's my experience.
Yeah.
You see the reason behind. Sometimes I ask the question before acting or doing, is this coming from a place of love and inclusiveness, or it's coming from a place of protection? Am I trying to protect a part of myself which I don't want to let go yet, or something like that? Yeah, so I sometimes ask these questions, and even if I don't know the reason at that time when it's happening, at least I know I'm not coming from a pure place, and I choose not to express it. Sometimes I suppress it a little bit, I release a little bit. I don't know. I just try to do my best.
Yeah.
I have Mickey always in there with saying things to me. So whatever happens, I just know this is what needs to happen. So
You know, what I'm hearing from that is you have an intention. You've set a very strong intention, and that you're experimenting within all the different ways of working with an energy that you know is not profitable, that's not helpful to people around you. And you're experimenting, but the intention beneath that experimentation is what's powerful and what will carry you through. The intention, as the Buddhists are huge on, is to open, and at the end of this process to be free. And that's beautiful. It's that will cover all kinds of inefficiencies about letting go. I'll just put it like that. Your intention is right. You're going to grow, and you're going to get there, and you're going to find peace. So that's beautiful. Willie, you have your hand raised too.
Yes,
Thank
I
you,
just wanted
Ogden.
to mention
thank
that
you.
I think Eckhart Tolle translates sin as ignorance because apparently the root of sin is to miss the mark. So it's related to ignorance and not what we in Christianity. It's been all the weight of as Mickey said, it's not like there's devil or something like this. Ignorance. And so it takes a bit of the weight of its historical weight of the word in the text.
Yeah.
Just wanted to mention that.
All right. Welcome, Patrick and friend. Hi, friend. So, Patrick, I'm going to read lines 60 and 61, and let's hear what you have to say. As food sustains life and life sustains man, the sage who is free is the savior of all. The sun in the sky that lights heaven and earth cannot be compared to the sage who lights hearts. Now let me tell you, Uddhava, my son, the things you must do if the truth is to be won. By following this, you'll come to know bliss. Through wisdom, you'll conquer invincible death.
Hi, and this friend is called Rebecca.
Hi, Rebecca. To have you. Welcome.
Let's see. So, yeah, I feel like 61 is just a bit of a setup for the next section. He's going to tell us what he's about to tell us. But yeah, I really like 60. It reminds me of man does not live by bread alone, from the Bible, that spoon sustains life and his life sustains man. The sage who is free is the savior of all. Yeah, I don't know. I just like we're kind of coming after the section of the Song of the Wise Wanderer, and now Krishna's really just expounding on, like you said, what is it going to look like when you do the work and you've purified and you have a bright light. And I really appreciate that. I mean, in the first couple stanzas there, he's talking about what's happening inside of you, and here it shifts to like, oh, and by the way, you're gonna like impact everybody around you too. You're not just gonna, it's not just gonna be peaceful inside you, but in the same way that, you know, food and life sustains a person, somebody who's actually done this work is actually, I mean, maybe it's a bit, I don't know, maybe it's a bit melodramatic to say they're the savior of all, at least for what the levels I feel like I've grown through, but it can really resonate at least to raising your own vibration. Can just one of the ways I've seen it impact my life is like I won't say that I can sit here and say the work that I've done is like accelerated or raised the other people around me, but I can say that I've definitely noticed that as I've done my own work, cleared myself, I'm not bringing other people down as much. You know what I mean?
That's huge.
Yeah, and I think it's the same spectrum there. And yeah, so that's what I think. I think he's kind of walking us through the different end results, the fruits of this work, and let's not forget that one of them is that you are part of your world, and if you use yourself, you're going to raise those around you, and I think that's really beautiful.
That sage who is freed ceases to fuck up the people around him. Is that what that should say?
Yeah.
I love it. The things you must do if the truth is to be won. By following this, you will come to know bliss. Through wisdom, you conquer invincible death.
Yeah, I didn't really talk to that one. I just feel like he's about to. We need to hear next what he's actually saying to do.
Willie, you have your hand raised?
I just wanted to say, sometimes I tend to forget the chance I have to have access to these teachings because of our era of ultra connection. It's so easy to access all this kind of wisdom. The very deep wisdom is accessible, but even just a century ago, people had to travel to India and go to caves to just meet masters. And I mean, just reading The Untethered Soul is so deep, and I can read it I don't know how many times, and I can find it everywhere from even just click from my home. I really like these paragraphs because it reminds me of the preciousness and the very amazing value and the most amazing treasure we have, and I could feel also this passion. I mean, when Mickey talks about the masters, you can feel that devotion and that love for these masters. It's so deep, it's so beautiful, and sometimes I just don't pay enough attention to what the treasure it actually is. So
I had a similar response to this, was that in the course of my time here at the temple, Mickey obviously is a great teacher, but the other souls that surround the temple are beautiful as well, and in their love they have the intention of truth and beauty, and in that sharing they help so many people, and that appreciation for just people who, well, like Patrick said, just work on themselves as an approach to not being a pain in the ass. just to work on yourself, it carries a lot of light. There's a line in the Bible that says, a soft answer turneth away wrath. And that's what I feel is when you do this work, your answers, the ego tends to go away and the answers tend to get softer and more gentle much of the time. And there's less commitment to one's own way of doing things and openness to the way other people might live. And there's beauty in that. There's acceptance and love. And that makes a beautiful world. That's how you can actually be the savior of all. It's just to do your part in your little place of the world. All right. 62. And hey, Brian, are you there? Going once, going twice. All right, Brian, I'm going to read a line and ask you to comment, okay? We'll do line 62. Awake to the knowledge that God is yourself. Let all of your actions be guided by him. Surrender your life in the service of God, and your heart will be filled with the light of his love. Take up your abode with the holiest saints, those sages whose lives are devoted to God, and learn by their conduct to live as you must, to see only one in this vast universe.
Sorry, I was spending time getting my mic open. Kind
No
of
problem.
lost you for a second.
So
Yeah, so um, I guess we were talking about this earlier. Is this the same one I did yesterday? Close
yes.
to it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we did it. Yeah.
So in my experience, coming into the temple, I saw all the pictures on the wall and everything, and I didn't really grow up with any of that in my life. And it was it was a nice realization when I wasn't really picking and choosing which kind of person I was following, and I realized that all those people see God in everything, and they see God everywhere and inside of every person and in all of nature and the planet we live on and the whole universe. And Mickey talks about that a lot, and it really is all a creation of God, and it's not really just yeah, I guess.
No, that's
Sorry.
beautiful.
Yeah.
That's I see that when people come to the temple, there's this sense of mystery, and some people freak out. It's very different than what a lot of people have experienced, and yet they settle in and feel the energy. So Jeff, I'm going to read line 64, and you're up. O noble Udava, your sight must be pure to see only God in this manifold world. Such vision is wisdom that sets the soul free. See only one consciousness incessantly. By seeing in all men that spirit divine, the notion of others abandons the mind. Realize this one truth, and your heart will be free of anger and hatred and mean jealousy.
Okay. Um, I think striving, like we're talking about, to get closer to God. There's really no higher calling, right? And that we're all sort of connected. There's this notion that there's not me versus or us versus others. And just, I realize this one truth and your heart will be free. I think, working towards the idea of being at unity and loving one another.
I love that. And I had a kind of a similar moment. I was driving up 6th Street. I don't know if you guys know 6th Street here in Gainesville, but it's kind of, it's a narrow road and there's a lot of stuff on it. And I started to just notice that all the real estate signs and all of the development and all the stuff people bought and just all the crap, the homes that were there and the houses and the cars and all the stuff. And I started to see that it was everything that was there was a choice that someone had made to try to make themselves happy, right? That everything that had been purchased, every sign was a business attempt, everything that was on every piece of matter of thing that was on that street was somebody's attempt to be happy. And it was kind of amazing to see like how many ways we seek happiness and joy in this manifold world. So next time you go out, just notice everything that everybody does and just think somebody did that because they thought it was going to make them feel better. It's pretty amazing to see the different ways we kind of approach that.
Yeah, that's good. I like that.
Rebecca, are you up for one? All right. All right. This is one of my favorites, actually. This is a beautiful thing. That man who has seen God sees God everywhere. He worships the self in all hearts as his own. This is the best mode of worship indeed, to treat all as God in one's thought, word, and deed. Such is the knowledge I pass on to you, by which in this life you may learn to be free, and loosen all attachments to things passing by, and know your true self as immortality.
Wow. Yeah, it seems it's all laid out. Sorry. And sounds so simple, which seems, from what I've learned, I'm new to Mickey's teachings. I'm new to this song or this poem, however it's
Both work well.
yeah. But yeah, that's like it's a simple, but it's such a profound teaching to, see God, have God in all of your thoughts, words, and deeds, your actions. It feels like maybe this is like some of the heart of this whole song, or these.
It really is.
Yeah.
It really is.
So yeah,
That's
really
beautiful.
passage.
Anyone else? Andrea, what are your thoughts? The man who has seen God sees God everywhere. He worships the self in all hearts as his own.
Yes, when you come to that realization that everyone walking this path or walking their own path has their own struggles and challenges. It doesn't matter what it looks like, what kind of addiction it is. We all have our own. And when you start seeing them the same as you, as God, as that energy that surrounds us all, it's so freeing. And that one line, he worships the self in all hearts as his own. Yeah, you start looking at everyone around you as just different aspects of God, right?
I love it. I really do. It's such a lifting of the heart. So much of
what we
do in life has almost a adversarial effect on us. That when we're driving in traffic, we want to get ahead of the car. Maybe this is just an insight into me, so forgive me. But we want to get there quickly. We want to drive. We want to be first in line. We don't want to have to wait. We want to there's a lot of situations where they're just people, and we're people, and there's a limited amount of people that get through the thing, and we want to be the first one through or whatever. And just to see that everyone is just in the same chute. They're all in the same seeking as we are. They're all God as we are. It's a beautiful. And when you start to see their hearts and feel their hearts as you feel your own heart, when you'll go out this afternoon or wherever you are, and you'll see people that you haven't seen before, and to look at them and feel the energy in their face and feel the energy in their heart, and know that they're going through their own struggles, that they have an incredible story to tell about their lives, of what they've been through, and the horrible things that have happened to them, and the amazing, beautiful things that have happened to them, and the way their life was built to get them to this point, that it's all the same. Like the actual incidents and things that happen are different, but the energy and the feeling of love and the feeling of challenge and the feeling of growth are all the same for everybody. Male, female, any race, any age. That is an incredibly heart-opening experience to feel that when you look at the rest of the world. And that's a fitting end to this beautiful song and poem, because really that's what this is all about, is to open your heart widely enough to accept everything that happens. That's the surrender experiment in a nutshell. To accept everything that's come before you with love and peace, accept it for what it is, and deal with it from that space.
I love that. It's so beautiful.
The effect is that it loosens your attachments to all the things that are passing by. They just become distractions. You just see that what really matters is the heart of each person that you see and don't see, just everyone, and to let go. And for me, it means not having to be first in line, not having to be the one who drives the fastest. I still have some work to do.
Yeah, and that's also forgiveness for others and mostly for yourself.
Yeah.
Right?
And
that's beautiful.
if you're fortunate and you keep working at it, you can get to a point where even forgiveness isn't even necessary, because that sense of, for lack of a better word, I'll say judgment hasn't occurred, right? Just that sense of just open-hearted understanding. All right, I'm going to read the end, and then we've got some time. We'll just see who raises their hand, okay? Dear brother, said Sutta, the tale has been told of Uddhava and Krishna in days long ago. The fountain of nectar which flowed from the lips of Sri Krishna enables all men to know bliss. I bow to that Krishna, the one soul of all. This song, Atma Gita, his glory has told. May all men win freedom by singing this song from the Srimad Bhagavatam Puranas of old. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. So there's a poignance in this, in that this is the conclusion of this conversation between Uddhava and Krishna, and they won't see each other again. This is it. And so Krishna has just passed on all the wisdom that he had for Uddhava, and it's time for Uddhava to go forth and be that light in the world that Krishna asked for and taught him. And that's the beautiful thing of doing this on a daily basis, is that every day when we close this out, it's our call to go forth and within that day and be Uddhava, taking this lesson and moving forward with love, patience, openness, and accepting and seeing the God in everybody. Rob Coldwell, I'm going to just start it off with you. Any thoughts before we? And I'm going to ask a few other people. So
I had a friend. I had a friend ask me about the whole. I'll put in quotes, the God thing, because he identifies as somebody who really struggles with this. And the way I explained it to him recently was, I was just grateful. The other day I was lying in an acupuncturist office, and it's like you have to know where this place is. You park in the back, there's almost no signs, and you go down there and there's beautiful like Chinese watercolors that she does, and like she's just real simple, right to the point. She's a master of her craft. She's been doing it for like 40 years. And I was just like lying on that table for the hour and like just really grateful. Like, look at all this. Like that just is here. That's easier for me to like see God everywhere than it is when like my daughter gets in the car and she's just not talking and miserable and angry, and I can feel the energy. So like I am not at the point yet but I'd like to be, where I'm like a lot of compassion and you know, I mean, you ask a 15-year-old how they're doing, and if they don't want to answer you, like they will rip your head off. At least mine will. So that's where it's like this dichotomy for me personally, where it's like, yeah, it's easy for me when it's the butterfly to see God everywhere, but it is much challenging for me when it's like the rattlesnake, as Mickey always refers to. So that when I'm on the other side, yeah, I can look at. I used to love getting high. Like I smoked a lot of weed, and I would do it all the time. Like I wouldn't even go to school if I wasn't high, and because it was like everything was quiet, and I would just like be there. And I actually got like straight A's and got into a good school and all, but then that didn't work anymore. But now I can have that just when I'm in a peaceful place, I can just look outside and be like, this is how I used to feel when I was high, and I don't have to be anymore, and that's pretty cool.
That is
cool. And that feels really nice. He talks about quarks, leptons, bosons popping out of nowhere, and that's the energy and the quantum physics and all that. And I don't think about it at that degree necessarily, but it is pretty amazing that we all exist and that we have consciousness that's aware that we exist, and yeah, it's a work in progress over here, but there are moments where it's just, the God for me is just a lot of gratitude and a lot of joy. And then you do you hold the door open for somebody. You're extra nice to the cashier because you actually mean it, not that you're just patronizing or whatever. And that feels good. And you do raise the vibration up.
Yeah,
like, without a doubt.
I love what you just said, that like when you talked about consciousness just then, that tapping into that and that state of unchanging part of ourselves, to me, that's what that previous line is. To see your true self is immortality. That level of consciousness that you were born with, that you live your whole life with, and when you die, it's exactly the same, even though your body changes and your mind changes and your diet changes and your belief changes. That consciousness that connects us to the world and to the rest of the people in it never changes, and that's the immortality that I feel. I heard that when you said that. I want to share a quote from you that I found amazing, because when you talk about people who have a hard time, who are challenged with the whole concept of God, I saw this quote and I just looked it up real quick. I'm happy that I found it. So you guys heard of AC/DC, the rock band?
Oh yeah.
Well, their road manager is a guy named Barry Taylor, and this is what he said about, in some probably marijuana infused conversation, but I don't know. So they were talking about God, and somebody wrote this down, okay? But this is what Barry Taylor said: God is the name of the blanket that we throw over mystery to give it shape. And,
Oh,
and
wow.
I really love that. I could just like relate to that so beautifully. Like, one of my favorite feelings is that, or things I felt is that when I take my dog or cat for a ride in the car, like they just knew something crazy cool happened, but they don't know what happened at all. And that's like, I think humans are like experiencing God. We just have no clue what really just happened, but we know we liked it and we want more of that. And it's that mystery, right? Is that way that we can relate to the infinite and have this little peephole into a really beautiful state that doesn't happen without some sense of that mystery. So I love the fact that we don't have to nail it down. We don't have to understand it. It's not something to be understood. It's something to be experienced. It's like love. It's like passion. It's a beautiful painting. We just get to experience it and appreciate it, as opposed to identify it and quantify it and call it something. We can just open our heart to it and be with it.
It's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's the tale has been told.
So what's next, Tim? What do you have for us?
Well, I don't know. I'm going to take at least a week off, and I'm learning how to do this, and I'm going through my own adventures, and it's been a growthful thing for me too. And it's been a little more tiring than I thought. I'm not as, I got to work. I got to work on this. So I would like to do something if you guys would like to show up for it. So if you have ideas, please let me know. And again, I love the workshop format because I think it's incredibly important that everybody is heard and that everybody has a chance to hear and feel different opinions, different thoughts and viewpoints of things. So if anyone has ideas that they would like to send to me about what they would like to work on, I'll organize it and we can all share in the development of the idea, the concepts, and the learnings. So we can do that together. Okay.
Funny
Yeah,
you bring
that'd be
that
good.
up, Andrea. I was actually thinking, what is next? But what the RT? I don't actually know what I'm saying most of the time when we're doing the RT, and that could probably be done in an evening because it's pretty short.
Yeah.
It says take up your abode with the holiest saints, right? And then
Yeah. All right, that's beautiful. I'll
yeah.
start putting something together on that and see what I can track down.
I got a possibility too for those of us. It'd probably be helpful for ones that are at the temple too, but those that are not geographically. We're pretty far. What about a discussion group about what Mickey talks about on, I don't know, on a Sunday night or something like that? Like that'd be kind of cool to have a discussion group with you guys, just to see what you think, what your thoughts are.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
an idea.
no, that's a great idea. Maybe we could do like talk of the week or something, and we take that whatever the Sunday talk is that week and just have a session to chat about it.
I think the challenge is if I'm not incorrect, the talk that goes up on the website for a given Sunday or Monday or Thursday is not necessarily the talk that happens on that day. So, and it would be hard to like coordinate remotely that we're all having had
Probably about the same one.
contemplated the same Sunday talk.
I'm just thinking that we take whatever is the Sunday talk that's posted to TOU.org,
Yeah,
and then we just say that's the one, and
Yeah.
you know,
I would love that. I would love it if we. That's a great idea.
all right, great.
And Tim, that could even be something that once it got going, you don't like, because I know you have prison, you have all these other things. That could also be you just kind of created the vessel for us.
Yeah, that's true.
You know,
That sounds amazing. Okay.
depending on your time constraints and all that.
Yeah. All right. Well, I will open my heart and see what God does with that, and see if and if you guys are interested, drop me a line. Just let me know that you would like to do that, and I would appreciate it. So
That'd be awesome.
All right.
I got one other thing, one other question. I had emailed you a link to the Sri Atma Gita, a song that I found. Did you ever listen to that?
I can't say that I have. I may have listened to it before, and I apologize for that. But anyway.
Are you okay with me posting that?
Absolutely, please do. Right here, right now.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think so. Let me see if
Yeah,
it
there's
goes.
not many recordings online. I found years ago, I found like a website that would happen. You could like play it right on the website.
Yeah.
It was like
It's
1985
beautiful.
wanted their website back, but it was a
And for those of you who don't know, also we Sam and Lucy and I recorded a version of it from my little space back here, and it's on YouTube, on my YouTube channels, and it's
okay, good.
so check that out.
I didn't want to step on that. That's what
Oh no, it's please step on it, or not step on it, but share others too, please.
Share. Okay. All right.
I won't feel stepped on.
I am trying to send this. Hang on one second.
What about the chantings that are happening at the temple? Is anybody recording, or do you have any recordings with them?
I've posted the ones that I have done. There's one on tomorrow night, so I'll check and see what happens with that. I'll see if they're going to Patrick, excuse me, Jeff, if you send that to me, I can put it on a couple. Oh, there it is right there. Oh yeah, that's the farm to family. So I actually have listened to that. That's a woman named Sita who used to come to the temple on a real regular basis, and they had a music venue not far from the temple that they were working with a lot. And yes, I have heard that before. It's beautiful.
That is it's just really good. It's really I don't know, just it's haunting in a way, but just the words coming out, and yeah, I really liked it. I don't know what you guys think, but I thought it was really good. I listen to it every now and then.
Beautiful.
I actually keep it up because it's a website, so I have to keep it up on a tab so I don't forget about it.
Nice.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for that.
You're very welcome.
All right, beautiful people. Go forth and be happy. Share your love.
Is anybody on this group at the temple besides live nearby besides Tim, or are all of us remote?
In this group,
I'm remote. I'm Canada.
And Brian is in the neighborhood, but I think that's it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, Rebecca and I are coming to temple for a week tomorrow, so.
Oh, sweet.
We'll see
Oh,
you.
that's beautiful. Is this going to be your first time, Rebecca?
Nice.
Oh, that's wonderful.
That's awesome.
That's really cool.
All right. Well, I look forward to seeing you both there. Big hugs for both of you, and much love to all of you.
Much love to everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody. Bye.
Thank you, Tim.
Bye.
Thanks, Tim.
My pleasure.
Thanks, everybody.
See you later.